Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with some very good news. Hadi Choopan has a visa and will be competing in this weekend's Arnold Classic UK. And I will not be putting out official predictions for this show, so I can let you guys know right now I do have Hadi Choopan winning. Now I do want to mention this. A lot of people think that we saw the best Hadi Choopan of all time at the Arnold Classic Ohio, and as we all know, it is very hard to replicate or improve on your best look of all time. But we're talking about a Arnold Classic champion and a former Mr. Olympia. So if anyone can improve on their best, it's probably Hadi Choopan. And he did arrive here a little bit late, could be holding a little bit of water from the flight, but the guy next to him, he's going to make sure that all of that is taken care of. And let's switch over to the latest updates of James Hollingshead. And I would assume that James is prepping himself for this show because he is no longer working with Milos. Milo said recently on the Cutler cast that at some point during the prep, James just started to kind of go off on his own and do refeeds, and Milo straight up asked him, do you want to continue with me or do you want to continue by yourself? And James decided to continue the Arnold Classic Ohio prep by himself. I think James could have handled that whole situation a little bit better. But as of right now, James' plan is to spill over before the show and then dry out from there. A lot of people don't really agree with the approach, but James said he has had a lot of success in the past using this method. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? And let's switch over to Classic Physique. We have a lot of updates from Wesley Vissers over the past 2 days. And even though there's not a ton of guys in this Arnold Classic UK lineup for Classic, I think it's going to be a very interesting show. On paper, Wesley should win. He just beat Urs and Breon at the Arnold Classic Ohio. But at the Mr. Olympia just a few months ago, he placed behind Breon, Urs, and DaBoul. Now, I'm not saying that Wesley isn't going to win this show, but just keep that in mind. Things could get very interesting. Now, let's switch over to a small update from Urs Kalecinski. Going back to the Arnold Classic Ohio, a lot of people said that Urs was flat, and I also noticed he wasn't really opening up in his back double bicep. But good thing for Urs, both of those things can be fixed ahead of this show, and I'm really expecting Urs to bring it. I honestly believe he has a real chance of winning this show, taking nothing away from Wesley, of course. Now let's switch over to the Black Swan, Breon Ansley. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Breon and Urs Kalecinski placed ahead of Wesley Vissers just a few months ago despite losing to him in Ohio, so things could get interesting at this UK show. But Breon looks pretty good, and a lot of people were really upset that he did not beat Urs Kalecinski at the Ohio show. So maybe they get a different outcome at this one. And let's switch over to the latest updates of DaBoul ahead of the Arnold Classic UK. And DaBoul brought good conditioning to the Arnold Classic Ohio, but he did not bring his signature conditioning. And I think he is going to bring this signature conditioning to the UK show. He's probably going to have to sacrifice a little bit of fullness, but even DaBoul placed ahead of Wesley Vissers at last year's Mr. Olympia. So anything is possible, guys. And let's switch over to the mutant Nick Walker, who recently posted up some updates, looking massive as usual. And at least in my opinion, I think he's showcasing one of the best back double biceps in the sport of bodybuilding. But even though Nick Walker has yet to qualify for this year's Olympia, he will be doing the New York Pro. I think this year's Olympia is already setting up to be a great show. Derek Lunsford will be back with a full year off. Hadi Choopan will be back, quite possibly off of 2 Arnold Classic wins, and Nick Walker returning off the hamstring injury. And no disrespect to anyone doing the New York Pro, because I'm pretty much saying that Nick is going to win the show, but we do have to respect Nick Walker. He is an Arnold Classic champion, and the last Olympia competition he competed in, he was 3rd place. Now let's switch over to Hunter Labrada, who recently posted up some updates, and Hunter is currently sitting at 287 pounds. He said this is the biggest and the leanest that he's ever been, and Hunter feels great. Also looking pretty good in this update as well. Hunter's quads are just absolutely massive. Hopefully Hunter can control this weight pretty well and he doesn't grow his midsection. And based off what we seen last year at Tampa, Texas, and the Mr. Olympia, Hunter's physique is definitely headed in the right direction. Still needs to work on the peak. Now let's switch over to a recent update of Martin Fitzwater, who will be competing in the Detroit Pro after taking a year off. This update was actually taken by Brett Wilkin, and Brett was very happy. And I'm really excited to see Martin compete. We haven't seen him in a while. He's now working with Boss of Outlaw, who has a great track record with his clients from Urs to Wesley to Nathan Diasha, and I still believe that Martin quite possibly has one of the best backs in the sport of bodybuilding, but looking forward to seeing him in just a few weeks. Now let's switch over to Behrooz Tabani. Behrooz will be competing in the Dubai Pro, and there's rumored to be a lot of people doing this show. I've heard that Nathan Diasha, Regan Grimes, and Brandon Curry could all quite possibly be in that Dubai show, which is paying a lot of money this year. But despite not being able to compete at the Mr. Olympia for 2 years in a row, Behrooz is still working very, very hard. Probably working even harder. This guy is going to be a serious threat at the show, and do not overlook him. And in the next update of the day, we have a recent update from William Bonac, and Bonac said he will be starting prep in just 10 days. Bonac has yet to announce a show, but if I had to guess, I would assume he's going to throw his hat into the Dubai Pro. I mean, why not? They're paying a lot of money, and the show is going to be pretty competitive. I'm not really sure what William is going to bring to the stage this year. At first, I was thinking it may not necessarily be the best year, but after seeing Akeem Williams, who is someone a lot of people wrote off, bringing a great package to the Arnold, it honestly makes me hopeful for William Bonac. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? But let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day, and I'm pretty sure we all know exactly who this is, and may he rest in peace. But as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We will be covering the 2024 Arnold Classic UK tomorrow. I'm Krishan from GOAT Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.